All righty. Everybody got a packet? Cool. All right, part of your job is to be a salesman, saleswoman. In your license, it says sales associate. So for the most part, you're not really selling. You're just helping people, you're guiding them, you're sharing information and knowledge. But there is a certain part of your job where you do need to take that salesman hat and put it on. So we have here a list for you of the most common objections we hear, and we're going to go over them one by one. So to start out with, we have seller objections. So when you're with a for sale by owner or an expired lead, or even when you've just been referred to someone, they have these preconceived notions, they have these objections, right? They have these thoughts. And I want you guys to think of these as a chance to go deeper with the client, to figure out why they think that way, and to reframe their mindset. That's what it's all about. So we've got a list here of some of the most common objections. First one being, your commission is too high. Why do we, who here wants to take a crack at it? Anybody? Go ahead.
What's more important, commission or what you get back?
Perfect. Yeah, that is the concept. That is the concept. We're reframing the way they think. What's more important, how much I'm getting paid or how much you walk away with, you reaching your goal? Because you might be able to hire someone who will take less, but you'll end up making less. But if you go with me and I invest in your property, it's an investment into me. So today I brought with me some net sheets. Let's go through those. Here's what you're walking away with at this price. Here's what you're walking away at this price. Here's what you're walking away at this price. Are you okay with those numbers? We're reframing the way they think. We're getting them to focus not on how much I'm getting paid, but on how much they're going to walk away with because they're going to invest in me. And here's the thing, there's no risk up front for the seller, right? You take all the risk. You're going to pay for the photos. You're going to pay for the virtual staging. You're going to pay for the cleaner. You're going to do the open houses. You're going to do all the footwork. You're going to buy the postcards. You're going to deliver the flyers. The seller is doing nothing up front out of pocket, and you only get paid if you're successful in selling their home. And at the end of the day, they don't have to accept an offer that they don't want to accept, right? So let's say, you get to receiving offers. You're finally at that point in the listing process where offers are coming in. Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, what I'm going to do for you on every offer is I'm going to provide you a seller's net sheet to show you exactly what you'll walk away with. And if you're not happy with it, we can either negotiate, decline, or accept. It's up to you. You have all the power. So don't worry so much up front about what the commission is. It's all about what you're walking away with. Would you agree with that statement, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? And they say, yeah, okay. And they say, great. All right, so you hold all the power, and let's get this thing, moving in the right direction. All right, so your commission is too high. Anytime you have any objection with commission, it's all about reframing the mindset to what are you walking away with. Everybody understand that? So you might put underneath there, is it more important to you what you walk away with or how much I get paid? Is it more important to you how much you walk away with or how much I get paid? I want to try selling it myself. For sale by owner. Yes. Can't see you all over there. You want to take this seat over here? You can. What do you got? What are you thinking? Great. Great. She's brand new, by the way. She's only 18. She knows how to handle objection better than you guys. No, that was great. Right. So you're painting a picture. You're painting a vision, right? Okay, all right. So yeah, I understand what first thing we do when we hear an objection is we want to let them know that we hear them, we understand them. So don't be afraid to like mirror their objection. So if they say, I want to try selling it myself, hey, I completely understand wanting to try to sell it yourself. What is the reason why? Right? It's a chance to go deeper. We want to ask why. Because a lot of objections are facades to the real concern. So they'll throw something out there, and that might not be the real objection that you have to handle. Usually it boils down to commission, 90% of the time. Or if not commission, then maybe them knowing someone else. So I want to try selling it myself. How would we handle that? Well, we'd go deeper. We'd ask why. Not just say the words why, but we'd say, I understand. So write that down. I understand wanting to try to sell it yourself. Tell me why that is. And they're going to say something like, if I could do it myself, I could save on commissions. If I could do it myself, I think I could do it myself. I've sold properties in the past, right? Or trying to think of another one. It's not that hard, I can put it on Zillow and put a sign in the yard and it'll sell. Right? Or I don't trust realtors. Or I used to be a realtor, yeah. There's so many different ones. So I understand wanting to try to sell it yourself. Why is that? Why do you want to sell it yourself? It's a chance to go deeper. Number 3, another agent said they could sell it for more. Anybody want to take a stab at that one? Anybody want to take? How about anybody who's here for Royal Academy? Remember that? We went through it. Yes, you could go that route, right? You could go down the route of, hey, if you list it for more, it'll sit on the market for longer. And when you see a house that's been sitting on the market for a long time, what do you think of that house? And they're going to say, well, there must be something wrong with it. And you say, exactly. So, but another agent said they could sell it for more. What I like to do when I hear that one, because you will hear that one a lot. John said, it was 460. Sometimes they won't even tell you that someone else gave higher numbers. We handled this in Royal Academy. So the idea is that you want to express to them, why is that? This is what I would say to the seller. Why is that? You could have 3 different realtors come out here and give you 3 different prices. The problem is that some realtors, earning your business means everything to them. They don't have any other business. And so what they're doing is they're telling you what they think you want to hear. And the problem with that, because you could have 3 realtors come out here and get 3 different prices, earning your business does mean a lot to me, but I don't want to take your listing and then overpromise and underdeliver. I'm going to be straight with you from day one, right? Here's the facts. Here's the comps that I provided for you. Based on what I provided for you, what do you think we should list your house for? And I'm not afraid to try to list it for more, as long as we're in agreement that if a couple weeks go by and we don't get any showings, we're going to drop the price a little bit. So I guess what I would put here, another agent said they could sell it for more. You want to say, why is that? It's true. You could have 3 different agents come out here and give you 3 different prices. Most agents will tell you what they think you want to hear, because just getting your listing and not actually selling it, now they're not worried about selling it, they're just worried about getting the listing, is extremely important to them. Or just getting the listing is more than what they already have. You understand the mindset there? The reframe? Well, you don't really want to talk bad about another agent. You just want to say, some agents will tell you what they think you want to hear, just so they can get the listing. They're not actually concerned about selling the listing. They're okay with just getting the listing.
Could you explain that their strategy is probably to list it and then drop the price?
Sure, 100%. Yeah, you could say, they want to tell you what you want to hear, so that way that you would list it with them, and then eventually they're going to talk you down and down and down and down and down.
You'll end up right where
and you'll end up
my work price.
and you'll end up where these numbers, numbers don't lie. You'll end up where these numbers are, more than likely. I don't want to make repairs before selling. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I skipped one. We're not in a rush to sell. Go ahead. Demand?
Before you even think about it, you will be in a rush to sell and you won't get the same price as you were.
I see what you're saying. Yes. I like where you were going there. The way I would handle this, we're not in a rush to sell. Hey, I understand. Patience is a virtue. You always want to reiterate to them that you understand what they're saying. And you hear them. You're not ignoring their concern. So I understand that you're not in a rush to sell. Patience is a virtue. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have some urgency in selling your home, because if we take things slow and the house sits on the market, the perceived value of the home, the longer it sits on the market, will be lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. So we want to treat it with urgency because we want to get you the most amount of money possible. Does that make sense? Let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. When you see a home that's been sitting on the market for a long time, what do you think of that property? There must be something wrong with it. And we want to avoid that. We want to make your house seem valuable. We want to make your house seem like it's the prettiest girl at the dance, we say. The lowest price, best looking.
What do you think of this?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I've been running these things through ChatGPT.
Okay.
It says, I completely understand that you're not in a hurry. Taking your time can be a good strategy, but it's also important to remember that the market can change, and the longer a property sits, the more chances of reducing its price or adjusting strategy later on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of what she was saying. Yeah. Yeah, so getting to understand market could change. Market could change, 6 months from now. Who knows what kind of, I don't bring that up because I'm always bullish on the market. And I don't want to lie to them and say, I think the market's going to come down in 6 months, so we should sell it right now. Right? So I just kind of but it's absolutely a great mindset frame, mindset switch there, right? We're getting them to think, okay, hey, it's all right to not be in a rush. We'll take things easy, but that doesn't mean we want to drag our feet because perceived value goes down the longer the house sits on the market.
I think that's the bigger one.
That one is, everyone understands that one. That's not really like a projection. It's not really like I'm not foretelling the future.
Exactly.
I'm getting you to just say what everyone already thinks. When something's sitting on the market for longer, it must have less value. I don't want to make repairs before selling. Anybody want to take a crack? Sure, yeah. Yep, you could share with them, yeah. Yes, yeah.
I could pull them what I know and say, you don't want to make repairs, just buy the materials, I'll fix it for free.
Mic drop, Yeah, there's so many different ways to handle objections, right? There's not one size fits all. And you've got to think about, who are you talking to? What are they wanting? What are they needing? So I always say that, hey, that's okay. There's different strategies. I understand not wanting to make repairs before you sell. It costs money. You may or may not get that return on investment. But I want them to understand that there's three aspects to selling a home. There's price, condition, and location. So the better the condition, the better location, the better the price. The better the price, the better the location. It doesn't matter so much about the condition. So we have to compromise somewhere. And so if we're not going to put some money into fixing the condition of the home, we're going to have to drop the price. We can't change the location. That's set, right? The location is a location. So, that's kind of set. So, hey, you're in a great location. Maybe condition won't matter as much, but we'll still have to flex a little bit on the price. So what I want you to write there is consider the three aspects of selling a home: condition, location, and price. If we're going to be asking a higher price, it better be a great condition, in great condition, and in a great location. If we're going to be not worried about condition, if the condition is bad, terrible, then we're going to have to drop the price. We're going to have to compromise on the price. You can't change location. Location is fixed. Does everybody understand that? Everybody able to write down something? Something there? Right? Condition, location, price. I need to think about it. I need to think about it.
If there was one reason why you were not listing it right now, what would it be?
Dig deeper. Good. Perfect. Write that down. So I didn't ask them, why do you need to think about it? Right? Because they're like, hey, so what you first want to say is, I understand this is a huge decision. This is a big decision. This is the biggest asset of your life, right? This is the biggest financial asset of their life. Biggest financial move of their life. And then what was that again, James?
I said, if there was one reason why you don't want to list it with me right now, what would it be?
If there was one reason that was holding you back, what would it be? Perfect. Or how about with an objection like this, I usually handle this in the pretense. I usually make sure all the decision makers are there. So if you do that, they might still say, I need to think about it. And then, like, your biggest one with the I need to think about it thing is going to be, not all the decision makers are here. So we need to talk about it. I need to go over it with them, that kind of stuff. So you want to really make sure anytime you're on an appointment to meet with somebody, the decision makers are there.
How do you readjust that? Because I have had that objection. I get it. Before I do this, I want to run it by.
Yeah. I understand. Are you looking for, what was the word? Permission or confirmation? Something like that.
Yeah.
So I need to run it by somebody. So is that person, are you looking for permission from that person? Or have you made up your mind and you just need confirmation from that person?
Would you ask them, like, what is it that you think about?
Yes. But you gotta be careful because it could come out the wrong way. If you ask it like James said, that's perfect. Right? James was, we'll say,
If there was one reason why you don't feel like listing it right now, what would it be?
if there was one reason that you could boil it down to, what would that reason be that's holding you back? We don't want to lower the price, right? Maybe you're talking to a for sale by owner and they're overpriced, on Zillow. And you go in there and your comps are $50,000 less. And they say to you, we don't want to lower the price.
Would you like to sell the house?
Well, do you want to sell the house? Yeah. So we don't want to lower the price. Anybody else take a stab? Go ahead.
I understand, but, well, first of all, if it is first of all, how long is it hard so like, if you're willing to keep waiting, it will probably stay there for a very, very long time. And we will not, it's better to get less than nothing, because that's what you're getting right now.
Yeah, right.
So you have to make a decision. You have to,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's less, you will still get a pretty decent price for the house, and you will pretty much get that over and done.
No one wants to take less. right? No one wants to take less. There's so many different ways you could go with this. What you want to do with this one is you want to, so I see what you were saying. You know, if you're up on the market already, how long has it been on the market? You're probably overpriced if you haven't gotten any buyers or offers. There's so many different ways you could go with this. The question becomes, are you wanting to, I forgot where I was going with this. Are you wanting to sell only if you can get a ridiculous number? Or is there something else that's making you sell? What is it? Why are you selling in the first place? And you want to find that answer out. And then you bring up perception versus time. And then you also want to go into that same category of, if this were a house that you were purchasing, based on the comparables that I've showed you, would you be willing to pay over market value for this home? And you're kind of flipping their mindset. So you need to know their motivations, right? If it's just a dream of theirs to make $500,000 on the sale of their home, then maybe this ain't a listing that you need to take, right? But if they actually have some motivation to why they're moving, I want to be close to my daughter in Miami, or I have to sell because, I have to pay off my student loan or something like that, right? Then you can use that and say, well, listen, this is a reality now. You can sell it. You can make X amount of money if we sell for X price. However, if you try to list it up for more than market value, it's going to sit. The perceived value over time will become less because it's sitting on the market. And then you may never be able to accomplish this goal, if we don't list it for the right price.
Maybe think you need to switch the.
You also kind of like put them in a buyer's shoes, basically.
Yes.
For example, put them let them see it through the eyes of a buyer.
Yes.
Because I will go on Zillow, I will go on
Yes.
or look at a house, and I'll look at a house, and I'll look at the price, and I end up it's not worth that.
Right.
For me, I would never pay that much for that specific house.
Right. Yes. So put them in. So the rebuttal would be, I understand wanting to make the most amount of money for your home. We share the same goal. I also want to sell your home for the most amount of money possible. But let me ask you, if you were a buyer in this market, based on the comps that I showed you, based on the comparable properties that have sold that I showed you, would you be willing to pay more than market value for a home? So reframing their mindset, putting them into the shoes of potential buyers. The market is slow. I'll wait for a better time to sell. Woo, we've got a lot of objections here. What if it gets slower? Good point. Yeah. Hey, the market has slowed down. You're not wrong. The market has slowed down. I understand you. I hear you. Right? The market has slowed down. However, now is a great time to sell because of XYZ. Now is a great time to sell because the spring market is right around the corner. Now is a great time to sell because you never know if it's going to get worse or if it's going to get better.
I feel like if they're buyers as well, it's easier to see interest rates are so low right now. It's a great time to sell. What if you wait and now you're still got to buy and now you go up or something like that.
Yeah, and remember,
goes away,
exactly.
lose it because of this.
Exactly, good point. That's why it's important to dig deeper into what is it that they're actually wanting and needing, right? Because if they themselves are a buyer, you talk about interest rates, then then it's all a financial thing for them, which it usually is. And you could say, hey, yeah, in the event that interest rates do come down, purchase prices will go up even higher. And so it's the same difference, and you're going to have to compete when you're buying a home. So now is a great time to do it because there's less competition. We'll find the right buyer for you if we list at the right price. And you'll be able to secure your home if we go new construction. It depends on what they're looking for.
I would think that part of it would be the opportunity cost. Like your money is tied up in the house. Let's say this is a second home or something like that. They don't really have to sell right now, but they do want to sell. It's probably because they want the money for something else.
Right.
And I would, if it's me, I would try to dig deeper as to what they want that money for.
Absolutely.
And then
use that against them.
That opportunity cost, because your money in the meantime is tied up in
Mm-hmm.
What's more important right now?
Right.
So
That's what it boils down to. And here's the thing: is you should walk into every deal, every appointment, as if I don't need your business. I'll help you if you want my help, but I don't need your business. There's more business out there. So if you're not absolutely wanting to sell your home, I'm not going to beg you to sell your home. I'm not going to beg you to work with me. I don't need your business. That's the mind frame you need to have, right? You want to treat everyone fairly, equally, and you want to treat them like they're royalty when they're your clients. But before they become your clients, you need to go, I want that person that is begging to work with me, that really wants my help. So, you have to be careful with that mindset because you don't want to get too cocky. But have that in the back of your head. I don't need this deal. I'll be fine without this deal. So let me do my thing with confidence. Let me come in here and handle these objections. And if they want to list with me, it's going to be the best decision they've made in a long time. And if they don't, then they're making a bad decision because no one would have worked harder for them.
Right. Well, and I mean, it could be that they're not motivated. And if
Exactly.
they're motivated, then I don't know if you would want this.
One of your biggest values as a real estate professional in this industry is finding motivated sellers. Finding motivated sellers makes for great profit on listings. It also makes for great profit to investors. And they're easier to sell, faster to sell. So you finding motivated sellers is the number one key trait to how successful you'll be in this. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not desperate. You're just nervous. There's a difference between desperate and nervous, right? Yeah. Being prepared will help you overcome being nervous. So just spend that time being prepared, making sure you're prepared for every appointment, and you'll be less and less and less and less nervous every time you go on an appointment. Yeah. Confidence comes with experience, too. Right. Well, it's a little easier when you're one-to-one with somebody, right? Why should I choose you over another agent? Go ahead. Uh-huh. Yeah. I love getting this question. Why should I choose you over another agent? Because that is I usually actually don't hear this because I do such a great job in the listing presentation itself. It just speaks for itself, right? When you bring out those slides and you show it. The other agent, I promise you didn't do that. So I'll ask her, so what other agents have you interviewed? So did any one of them, show up on time, show up dressed sharp? Do any one of them, did they bring out a listing presentation with the slides and walk you through the whole thing? And if they did, at the end of the day, it's all about who you like more and who you trust more. And so maybe I'm not the right agent for you. Bam. They go, oh shit, now I want him. Right? Because now he's playing cat and mouse with me. So, yeah, why should I choose you over another agent? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm very passionate about what I do. This is my life. I eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff. But let me ask you, have you interviewed anybody else? If so, did they do all the stuff that I did? And if they did, it's all about who you know, who you like, and who you trust more. And if you know, like, and trust that other person more, then maybe you should go with them. Maybe I'm not the right agent for you. It just depends on what you're wanting and what you're needing. Can you cut your commission if I find the buyer? I don't hear this that much. Can you cut your commission if you find the buyer? Huh? What buyer? Right. Well, this one is, it comes down to a matter of just saying no. Right? No, and let me tell you why. Because I'm going to be doing all the door knocking, all the phone calls. I'm going to be paying for the photography. I'm going to be paying for the virtual staging. I'm going to be posting this all over social media. I'm going to be doing the open houses. I'm going to be sending out flyers. I'm going to be sending out the postcards. I'm going to be talking to people every single day about it. It's going to go everywhere to the entire world. How will we know if that buyer came from me or directly from you? So how about this? Before we list it, you give me a list of names that you think will buy the home, that you've already been talking to about it. And if any one of those buy the home, then I won't charge you a commission.
What about going a route with like, and I'm just brainstorming in my head here, but what about going a route like, well, that's great if you can find the buyer, but I'm going to be representing you in this transaction. And
Sure.
making sure that you get a fair shake on it, even if it's somebody that you found.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah. I would use both of those. Use both of those. Use that coupled with, and also how will we know where they actually came from? Because if we're going to be exposing, if my job is to expose your home to the entire world and promote it, how will we know if they didn't see one of my marketing things at some point in time and that's why they're interested? Also, I'm going to be representing you. I'm going to be looking out for your best interests and negotiating and all that stuff. Buyer objection. We're not ready to buy yet. We're going to flip mindsets here. Now we're talking about buyers. We're not ready to buy yet. Hey, I understand this is such a huge decision for you. When you say you're not ready to buy yet, what is it that's holding you back? We're digging deeper. What is it that's holding you back? Money, usually. Oh, I can't afford it. Right. The only reason people aren't buying houses is because they think they can't afford it. Right? If everybody could afford it and they thought they could, they would be buying houses. So, we're going to wait for the market to crash. Right? Or, interest rates and everything, it's just too much for us. And you can dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Because, hey, what would you be comfortable with monthly? What would you be comfortable with out of pocket? What would make it affordable for you? Then you can find a solution to that, because there's a solution for everybody, right? You can take them to new construction. They can come out of pocket $0. They could get a interest rate buy down to 4%, and they could spend less than $2,500 a month on a home, taking the new construction. So, or you could set their expectations that, hey, okay, you can afford a home. It's just not in St. Cloud. It's in Kissimmee, or it's in Poinciana, or it's in Hopewell, right? So digging deeper to find out what makes you say that. We're waiting for interest rates to drop. Come on, this is the easy one. Go ahead.
Situation in which you can wait, but it might not drop the way that you think it is, or maybe you can go higher. It's not for sure. It's not something
Right.
for sure.
Right.
So it's very well then maybe it's too risky. There's a lot of risk.
Yeah, 100%. That's the idea, right? So what you say to them is, hey, I understand wanting to get the best interest rate possible. But let me ask you, if rates were to drop, what do you think is going to happen to the market? Buyers are going to flood into the market because now interest rates are down and everybody's thinking the same thing. And what's going to happen to prices? They're going to go up.
and you're not going to get that.
And what's going to happen to competition?
You could buy now and refinance it when that happens.
And here's why it pays to be a market expert every day. Because right now we know that there's low inventory. And the only reason it's not a seller's market is because interest rates are higher and prices are higher. So if interest rates come down, that does not fix the low inventory. There's still not enough homes on the market. So interest rates come down, more buyers enter. That doesn't change how many houses are for sale. More buyers enter the market, house prices go up, competition goes up, all that. And on top of it, no one can guarantee you that interest rates are going to come down. Tell me, what kind of interest rate are you looking for? What would interest rates have to get to for you to jump into the market? 5%, 4%, 5%, right? Realistically, 3.5%. Okay, good luck.
You can get 4% now anyway.
Exactly. Hey, 4%, I can get you 4%. If that's the only thing holding you back, there's new construction communities. You can do interest rate buy downs. You can do temporary buy downs. There's so many ways to get a 4% interest loan. It's not hard. So that's the only thing. If that's the only thing holding you back, let me take you to a new construction community and show you what you can get, what kind of deal you can get in the 4%. area. We want to see more homes before making a decision. Yes. Yes. I lost my page here. Where did I go? We want to see more houses before making a decision. Yes. The way that I like to handle this is, yeah, it could be gone, right? Are you going to be okay? That's fine. Are you going to be okay? You know, I know you like this home. Are you going to be okay if someone else swoops it up? What I like to do is a pre-objection handler to this is I get them to rate every single house we see 1 out of 10. And I tell them, I set the expectation, if we see a house that meets 8 or more out of the 10 things that you're looking for in a home, then that's the type of home we need to make an offer on. We need to be making offers when we start hitting 8 out of 10s. If it's an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, or obviously a 10 out of 10, we're making an offer on that home. So what they do is they, the first house they see, that's the benchmark for all the rest of the homes that they see. So if they give it a 6, okay, if that's a 6, the next one better be a better home. Huh? Yeah. Yes. So what we do and also to prevent you from overworking and showing homes that aren't going to do it for the buyer, is before we see them and say, hey, I want you to give me a preliminary score on these homes. If any of them are less than 6 out of 10, let's just skip it for now. Let's try to focus on the homes that are better than the last home we saw. And then bam, now you're not spending so much time showing pointless houses, right? Not that that's a terrible thing to go show houses to a buyer, because it's just bringing you one step closer. But yes, there you go. Want to see more houses before making a decision? I understand this is a huge decision. Let me ask you, if this one were to not be here tomorrow, would you be okay with that? Or, hey, you rated this one an 8 out of 10. Remember in the beginning of our showings, we said anytime we see a house that's 8 out of 10 or better, we're going to make offers on it. I think you should make an offer on this one. What would be a price for this home that would be attractive enough for you to make an offer on it? And then they'd say, well, if we could get it for $350, so let's do it. What's it hurt? Let's send the offer in. Let's start a conversation with the seller. And worst comes to worst, they say no, and we move on with our lives.
So before showing houses, very beginning, you tell them, I'll start to see what I rate.
Yes.
Anything between like 6,
Anything in 8 or better, we're making offers on. Yes. Yeah. If it meets 80% of your wants and needs, that's the one. That's the house for you. The house is overpriced. Who wants to take a stab?
You can always ask.
Sure. Well, let me do how about, hey, I understand wanting to get the best deal on a home. And, this one, I did run a CMA on it. I want to go over that with you. You go over the CMA with them, and you say, hey, actually, it looks like this house is actually priced at market value. Or maybe it is a little overpriced. Why don't we do this? Let's make an offer. The worst they can say is no. Based on the comps, we want to offer, market value or a little bit less so we can get you a good deal. Here's what I established market value to be based on the comparable properties that have sold recently. And hey, that house may be overpriced, It might be overpriced. If it is, and they really like it, don't let that stop them from making an offer. Because the worst a seller can do is say no. Right? I don't want to work with just one agent. I don't usually hear this, but
Well, that's great, because I work with a team of agents who will be more than happy to help me throughout.
sure, there you go. That's a confidence. Yeah, confidence is part of it. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that one. So yeah, I work with a team of agents. That'll be helping you. Yep.
I'll call you up. I know my buddy can do all the houses we can.
Here's what you should say. Hey, I understand, wanting to get the best agent possible. Here's why we have to sign a buyer's broker agreement, because I want to pour all my time and energy into helping you get a good deal on a home. And I only commit to clients who are willing to commit to me. And if at any point in time you're not happy with me, we can cancel our relationship. We can cancel the contract, our relationship, with written notice. Yeah. For us, we have to, no, not on the listing side, but on the buyer side, yeah. And it depends on the type of listing and it depends on the type of contract. But yes, to answer your question, yes, it's legal. But we try not to do that, right? We want to secure the client. So the reason why, and this is what I say to them, and you have to say it with confidence, is that the reason why we have to do this buyer-broker agreement is because I want to commit all my time and energy to you. I want to share with you on-market properties. I want to share with you off-market properties. I'm going to spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, and to be quite frank, money trying to find you a good deal. And I only commit to clients who are willing to commit to me. Is that something that you think you could commit to? At any point in time, you don't want to work with me anymore, you just send me an email or a text, or you call me and you let me know, and we'll cancel the contract. I'm not going to force you to buy a home with me if you don't want to work with me. We want to wait for home prices to drop further. This is very similar to interest rates. Similar conversation.
So home prices drop and interest rates go high.
Maybe. Not necessarily. Mm-hmm. 100%. Exactly. I have an advantage over most agents because I started back in 2015. And what I tell people is, hey, I've had people say that to me every single year since 2015. I love to call those people and mess with them. Hey, still waiting for the market to crash? It's triple what it was in 2015. Yeah, right. On average, the home market appreciates, depending on where you're at, 6%-ish. 4 to 10%, 4 to 12% in certain markets. 2020 and 2021 and 2022 was ridiculous. It was like a crazy number. But hey, let's look at the history of the market. It doesn't typically drop, and not by that much. And if it did, there's probably a lot of other buyers out there who are thinking the same thing as you. So if it did temporarily drop, we'd have a bunch of people jumping into the market, be a lot of competition, house prices would go up, or interest rates would go up. If you're waiting for that perfect time to time the market, then you might not ever buy a home. So let me ask you again, what is your motivation? What are you wanting to do? I don't like this neighborhood. If someone doesn't like a neighborhood, honestly, I just say, okay, hey, let's go on to the next one. Hey, it's, okay, totally understood. If we find a neighborhood that you like today or tomorrow, whenever you're showing houses, and maybe not a house that you like, let's narrow it down and then choose only to look in that area, that you like, that you want. I want to negotiate a much lower price. If you were the seller, would you sell your home for less than market value? I'll think about it and get back to you. Hey, that's okay. I understand this is a huge decision. Thinking about it is really important. What is it that's holding you back? What is it that's holding you back, right? 90% of objections is just going deeper into the psychology of why they're saying that. Why? You're basically just asking why. Why do you think that way? How did you come to that conclusion? I'm not sure I want to commit to a mortgage right now. I'm not sure I want to commit to a mortgage right now. Okay, you got cash to buy this thing? Yeah. Hey, I understand. Right.
Where they live.
I would do a rent versus mortgage situation here. So I'd say, hey, I understand, this is a huge financial decision. This is responsibility. But owning a home is the number one way to wealth. And if you have a mortgage and you pay that mortgage every month, you're paying it down over time. If you want to sell in the future, you get that money back. But if you continue to rent, that money that you're spending on rent, you will never see it ever again. It is gone. Yep. Oh yeah. And the worst part about it is not that you spent it, it's that it's gone. You will never see the equity, you will never see the return on investment because you're still spending money, you're still spending money on a mortgage, right? That money comes out of your pocket and it's gone for the most part, but you're building equity and you're paying your mortgage off. You have something to show for it, right? You own a home that is building equity over time. So I would go that route. Rent versus mortgage.
What if it was not a rental? What if it was not a rental and he had the house that's paid off with? And that's why he said, I just don't want to start another.
I don't want to commit to a mortgage. Well, let's sell that home and you can buy this one cash. I don't know. Depends on the person, right? Can you guys confirm with me? Next page says general objections.
Yeah,
General objections. General objections. We're already working with another agent. Hey, I respect that kind of loyalty. If I have a list of on-market properties, off-market properties, if I were to find you a really good deal, something that your other agent maybe didn't send to you, would you be willing to work with me on that specific home? This is for a buyer. Or we're already working with another agent to list their home. Not much you can do there. If they're under contract, have you signed any contracts? You kind of want to find out, are you under contract or not? I don't want to sign a contract. Ooh, that's a big one. I don't want to sign a contract. This could go for either one, buyers, sellers. If we're dealing with a buyer, hey, I understand. Yeah. If you're working with a buyer, hey, I understand, not wanting to really tie yourself down and commit to this. I kind of get that. But if your goal is to buy a house and you want a really good realtor, someone, an expert, someone who's a professional, we have to have a contract. It's legal now. It's a law. We have to have a contract. What is it that's holding you back from signing a contract? You say, well, probably, what if I don't like it? What if I don't want to do it, right? So, hey, that's okay. We can get this contract signed, and then if for any reason whatsoever you want to cancel it, you can cancel it like that. All it takes is written notice. All it takes is written notice. I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do, but we do have to have this contract signed because it's the law. It's the Florida law. If it's a seller, and they say, yeah, you can find a buyer for my house, but I'm not signing a contract with anybody. Hey, I understand, wanting the services of a real estate agent, but not wanting the commitment. What's holding you back from signing a contract? What aspect of it? You say, well, I don't want to be tied to anybody. If I find a buyer, I don't want to pay a commission. Hey, well, do you already have some buyers lined up that you think might want it? If they say yes, you say, great, hey, how about this? If we do end up signing a listing agreement, you give me those names, and if they buy the home, you don't owe me a commission. I'll write it in the contract. You're just digging deeper. That's the whole concept. We need to discuss this with family and friends first. We kind of already hit that one. You want to make sure that those decision makers are already there, and you want to let them know that you understand that this is a big decision, and you're okay with them talking it over. But what is it specifically that they're wanting to talk with their family about? What is it specifically that's holding them back from making a decision today? You're just digging deeper, always asking why, going deeper. I'm not sure I trust real estate agents.
That's why I'm a realtor.
Well, hey, I understand. Every industry has bad apples. Tell me, what is it that's got you thinking that way? Why don't you trust realtors? And they might say, oh, I had a bad experience in the past. I say, hey, I understand, that's terrible. Every industry has its bad apples. But I assure you, you can look at you guys would say my company's reviews. You can look at our past clients and see how happy they are, and how good of a deal we got them, and how fast we sold their home, and how much over market value we sold it for. And We're going to wait until the market improves. This is the same thing as earlier, right? Oh, well, in what way does the market need to improve for you to purchase a home or you do sell your home or whatever, right? In what way? In what way? We're trying to find out why, what way. And then we obviously go down that path with them. Oh, if it's interest rates, then we go down the interest rate path. If it's more inventory, then we go down that path. I can't afford your services. Hey, that's a rebuttal for sure. Well, what makes you say that? Why do you say you can't afford my services? And they're going to say, well, hey, that's okay. Well, you don't have enough equity in your house. Well, that might be an issue, right? So, but if they say, well, what was it that you said? What was it that you just said? I don't have enough money right now, right? Oh, that's okay. You don't actually have to pay me up front. I get paid on the proceeds of the sale only if we're successful in selling the home. And we're going to make sure we work that into the seller's net sheet. You're going to be able to see it. I actually brought seller's net sheets for you. It shows exactly what you're going to walk away with. You told me you owe $200,000 on your home. I think we could sell it for $350,000. That's more than enough to cover my costs, and you still make $100,000 from the sale of the home. Right? We make it all about the seller's net sheet and what they walk away with. Yeah, you guys decide how you want to run your business, but for me, I've always been flexible. If someone is in a tough spot, then I negotiate my commission with them to make it work. If I have to take 2% rather than 3.5%, I'm okay with that, right? If I've got to do it for 1.5%, and it's a listing, I don't mind. So it's just like, bend if you need to make it work. I'd rather help someone and make a little bit of money than not help them and them end up with a flat fee company and then they're on their ass, with terrible service. Why do I need a realtor when I can do this myself? I had a bad experience with a previous agent. We're worried about the economy and future job security. This process, okay, here. Number 10, this process feels too overwhelming. There you go. Yeah, you guys get the concept. Yeah, you're just painting the picture. Hey, I understand, this is a huge financial decision. It's a huge financial move. This is actually my job, is to take the stress off of your plate, to worry about the marketing, to worry about the negotiations, to worry about the legalities of this whole thing. I'm going to take all that off your plate. I'm going to make this as easy as possible for you. I'm going to sell your house as fast as possible, and I'm going to make you the most amount of money possible. So some tips for handling objections. This is important. Listen actively and empathize with their concerns. A lot of the times, I don't know about you guys, but in the beginning of my career, I was so nervous thinking about what I'm going to say next. I forgot to listen. Just trying to get my point across and say the next thing that I'm supposed to say and, twiddling my thumbs. But listen actively and empathize with them. They want to know that you hear them, that you understand them, and that you, from the bottom of your heart, actually care about their well-being. They can feel that. They can feel your intentions. So if you got commission breath, you're there, you're at $1 million house, you're like, $30,000, this would be huge. I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini, whatever, right? They can feel that. So you got to be coming from a place from your heart where you're listening, where you care about them, where you're empathizing with their concerns. This is why every time you hear an objection, you need to say in one way or another, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and I can understand why you think that way. But let me challenge you, or let me ask you a question. Does that make sense? Use data and market knowledge to provide solutions. Use numbers, use facts. Hard to argue with numbers and facts, right? Now, it's not always about being right. It's about building rapport, getting them to like you, getting them to trust you, and then sharing knowledge. So use data and market knowledge. That's why it's important, because number one, in real estate, we're two things. Number one, we're what? A market expert. Every day you need to be checking the market. You need to be reading articles on interest rates and the economy and housing prices. You need to jump on the MLS or Zillow, and you need to check out what's going on locally. You know, what are the prices at? How long are they sitting on the market? That kind of stuff. Number 2, we're what? Lead generators. Every day, market expert, lead generator, and you will be successful. A couple last pieces of advice here. Focus on your value as an agent. Your negotiation skills, your market expertise, how you can save them time and money and legal headaches. And then ask clarifying questions to better understand their hesitation. This is that overarching concept to go deeper with every client. Go deeper. Don't just accept an objection. Ask why. Why do you think that way? Why do you feel that way? Tell me what happened so I understand better. Does that make sense? Go deeper with every objection you hear. Find out their motivations, find out their wants and their needs. Be prepared to offer creative solutions, commission adjustments, staging assistance, flexible timelines. Don't be a rock in the mud, rock in the sand, right? You want to be able to offer solutions, be flexible. It's not like, hey, my commission's 6% and that's it. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else, right? Nobody wants to work with somebody like that. Do you want to work with somebody like that? No. So be flexible to some extent, right? Have your boundaries, but be flexible. Practice these in the mirror. Come to the Fridays classes. We're going to go over next week probably buyers' presentations or sellers' presentations. Come to those classes. Find somebody to practice handling objections with. When you're here in the office, be ready. If I run across you, I'm going to say, I don't want to pay a commission. And I expect you to handle that objection. I don't want to sign a contract. I expect you to handle that objection. On your toes at all times. Keep practicing. Thank you guys for coming today. If you need anything, I'll be here to answer questions. Study these. Thank you. Yep. Yes.